Currently, the Armory in Diablo Immortal feels really clunky. I don't love using it, and I usually don't use it, to be honest. But in my live stream yesterday, I was trying to switch from my farming build to my no-die Heliquary build. And I had a whole bunch of new essences, a whole bunch of new pieces of gear, and the builds, they were not the same because these slots were empty because I had gotten new pieces of gear. In pulling out that new build and swapping to it, I then needed to move gear around, switch essences, and it really was completely negating the purpose of the Armory overall. So I actually had someone on the stream called Dustin, and he was telling me a tip. Now, this is not a tip I haven't heard before, but it's one that I really haven't spent much time investing in figuring out before. I don't know why. Probably because I never was just a fan of the Armory. I'm going to show you what he shared with us right here. Then we'll go through a demonstration so that we all could have a better experience in the Armory. Here he is. Actually, RTFM Ace was his name in the live stream. Go to the Armory and activate a build. Check essences, Paragon, and green sets. Of course, it does save Paragon trees, your greens, and your primaries with all the gems that are in. Click on the gear icon and select the equipment, save legendary essence and gems without items box. This is something I never did before. Let me know if you have or not. Then it says now overwrite the build. You're going to get a warning, just accept it. Now go get some items. When you equip the new stuff, you can simply go back and activate it. Now, there's something really cool about this. It acts not only as a more secure and cleaner swap of gear, but it also will change the essences of your gear. Let's demonstrate right now. All right, so we're at the Armory. We're wearing our pieces of gear. I have right now a piece of gear that I could wear. It's not going to work in either slot because it doesn't have the essence I want. But that doesn't matter right now. So we'll come on over to the Armory and we will say, okay, this is our no-die build. This is the build that we like to bring into PvP. So we're going to overwrite it. Are you sure you want to overwrite this without removing the items? Yes. Okay. It actually made it into my farming build. That's fine for right now. It has changed it. If I want to overwrite it again, check this out. This is what he's talking about. This button right here. You click on this button. Save legendary essences and gems without items. Paragon. Save current assigned Paragon points. Save all of them. Hit overwrite. It says, are you sure you want to do this? It's making you worry a little bit, but you just hit OK. Now, if I want to switch out that piece of gear, let's say this one right here, if I want to equip this and switch it in for Bitter Wind, boom, it's now in the slot of Bitter Wind. Bitter Wind is in my satchel, and this Lurker's Last Chance is on my person. Let's go back here to the Armory. Notice, it is not showing a blank spot. And now, if I come back and if I activate this build, it's now activated. And let's check out what we actually look like here. It switched the essence of that piece of gear to Bitter Wind. So not only did it work properly, it actually switched the essence from the piece of gear that I just put in that slot into the proper piece of gear. Now, I'm going to equip back the one that I like better because it's just better in stats and all the way. And now that piece of gear is another Bitter Wind piece, which I think is pretty darn cool. Now, of course, we want to go back to the Armory. We're going to overwrite it. Of course, we're going to be utilizing this right here. Save, overwrite. Don't worry about this. Hit OK. Now, this does not work for green items right now. So if you get new pieces of greens, you're going to have to mess around with those in the clunky fashion. As of right now, that has not been cleaned up. But for our skills, for our Paragon tree, for our gems, for our primary pieces of gear, even for our charm, this is working as of right now. And this is the best way to do it. So this is the cog right down here in the bottom that you need to use. That's going to be your savior. And it's going to make things so much easier because, man, it has been clunky in the past. But now we could actually use it in a way where if you want to hop into PvP, you could quickly switch to your build, even if you've changed out some pieces of gear, essences will be swapped automatically and you will be good to go. Then you can just overwrite the new one and you're good. After you swap over, you're stronger, you're quickly switched, and it's looking good. So a little quick Armory guide for you this morning so that you could potentially use this feature inside of the game and not completely ignore it like I've always been doing.